Oh, you can take the camera off if you want, Garrett. Totally okay with that. But just, for the interest of those folks that aren't with us, and we can answer the questions or whatever that they may have.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Okay, so what I wanted to do is just to kind of move things off is kind of ask you a question about some of the things about how you found instructional design. One of the most fascinating things that I ever learned from students is like how they came about, how they found instructional design, and how they discovered it or how they found out about it. So if you're so inclined, would you mind sharing that? I'll actually do mine first. I actually was I'm a teacher. I call myself a recovering teacher, right? And I got laid off for the final time, and after tough times, or whatever, there was always layoffs and things like that. So I got laid off, and I decided that I was going to start my own construction company, and I've been doing that all my life. And as you probably know, there's a lot of that stuff that shows up in the course, But I ended up getting actually got a teaching gig at Cape Cod Community College, teaching construction there. And of course, kind of the kind of teacher guy I am, I was noticing the instructor wasn't like a really great teacher because he hadn't taught much. He did a lot of like swinging a hammer, but he hadn't done a lot of teaching and stuff. So I actually made some suggestions to the dean on some courses that she could possibly include if she was so inclined, because I was doing a small business, and I was like, small business for carpenters might be a really good course. And so I sat down with her. I had a meeting with her, and she's like, wow, this is really good stuff. You think you want to teach a course with us? And which is funny because I was actually in their program, and I was actually teaching it at the same time. Long story short, we were doing some things on Blackboard, and I kind of started playing around with Blackboard, and I decided that, this is something I really like to do. I really like developing courses, and I really like messing around with Blackboard and things like that. There's got to be a career name for this. And so my wife actually went onto Wikipedia and looked it up and found out that there's this job that's called instructional design. Maybe you might want to try it out. So I actually explored it, and I went to UMass Boston. I had the program there, so I started taking some classes there, and actually ended up being a grad assistant, and then I got a job at Northeastern, and I've been there ever since. So you never know. Public school teaching to carpentry to instructional design, it's building courses, whatever. So that's how I came about it. Garrett, how about you? How did you find out about it?
Well, my background is culinary, and then I decided to go back to school, and I actually started going to Quinnipiac for the instructional design, for the interactive digital design program.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
And then just graduated from there, and then got my MFA in graphic design, and just really wanted to explore more because I love design and I love working with design. Cool. So I also eventually would like to become a professor, so I think that building the bond between the two of them and doing instructional design and also working with graphic design is a great way to combine both the elements together as one. So, and it just happened that Quinnipiac, has the program again, so which was good.
Excellent. A lot of people come in to ID work from graphic design. One of the people at Northeastern that's had one of the biggest impacts on me is came from there, and she's excellent. So. Yeah, that's cool. Bailey, what about you? How'd you find out about it?
I am a teacher in New London, and right. I've been there about 5 years. I teach 8th grade social studies. Yeah. And it's a little bit of a burnout. You're exhausted at the end of the day, and I always really loved curriculum development. Mm-hmm. Awesome. On all our district's rewriting committees, things like that. Cool. So I was looking to get my master's. I had to get it. But I really didn't want it in just education. I just wanted something that could maybe branch me out of the education world eventually. So yeah.
It does burn you out, no doubt about that. I mean, I taught middle school for a little while too, and it's such a tiring job, and it's and what I'm doing now, I just compare the amount of fatigue that I have now as opposed to when I was It's just a hard job. That's all there is to it. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's a rewarding job, but it's hard.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and especially with those eighth graders, I mean, they're tough. Those guys are tough.
They are. Yeah. They are.
So, Ariel, how about you?
Well, I'm in a similar situation as Bailey. I teach 7th grade science.
Cool.
And 9th grade biology, because my high school is 7 through 12 up in Thomaston.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling the burnout myself, and I'm only my 2nd year. So Bailey, I don't know how you've made it to 5.
Right on.
But I am actually developing a flipped classroom. I've been in the progress of it for the last year, and I haven't been using Blackboard. I've been using a different learning management system called Schoology. So when I was reading the description of the ID program at Quinnipiac, because I had to figure out a master's program that I wanted to go into so that, I could stay in education, it really lined up with what I was trying to do with the flipped classroom. So I was like, this is perfect.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been amazed to see how many school teachers are in the ID program. That's pretty cool. I did not really know that. I just, for whatever reason, I thought a lot of, the IDs have been coming out of, either higher ed or training, places within a large corporation or that sort of thing. But to see that there's so many public school teachers, I think it's pretty cool. You guys are the ones that make it happen. All right, that's great. All right, so what I then like to do is, with getting going on the project, and it's like 5 weeks in or something like that, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to answer like any questions or what you'd have about the project and how it works, and I'm always looking for feedback to make it better. This is the 4th time I've done it, and I've felt pretty good about it. Felt pretty good about each time that I've taught this course, and there's some amazing things that come out of this course in terms of what they can come up with and develop, and they're always very, very different. Anything that you need to ask me about anything, let me have it. Is there any confusing things? I know that there was a couple of things that might have been a little bit confusing, like this past week or whatever, with the discussion and things like that, and maybe directions and so forth. I always find something, or actually, it's usually a student that finds something, So.
One thing that I just want to talk a little bit about is with the project plan and the assignment and progress report that we have going on. Mm-hmm. I know that this week you moved it up to Friday. But, I know I'm taking 2 classes, and it's a lot to do all the readings in 2 days, especially with the fact, like, you didn't specify how many pages we needed to read in the outcome learning book.
Right. Yeah. So you're talking about the objectives assignment, right?
Yeah. This one. Yeah. So I know that you moved it up to Friday, but I was like, holy crap, are we supposed to read this whole book plus also the other chapter? And that's where I was freaking out a little bit, especially since everything was supposed to be due on Wednesday. I was like, wow, this is a lot just to do in a couple days. And I know you moved it up Friday, which helps. This is like a heavy traffic type of period at the very beginning. You know what I mean, with the progress report and the plan and stuff, because we've got to have the plan in place. In order to really have a plan in place, in order to get going on it, you got to really know what you're going to be doing. So you got to have the objectives and the outcomes and so forth in place too. Right.
So, I'm up to, negotiating that when we need to, when the objectives assignment would be suitable, because I know sometimes it's hard to get together in the first couple of weeks when you're first getting to know each other and things. Then what do you think, Garrett? Tell me, what do you think would be a good, comfortable date? Because that's totally fine.
I think Friday's fine. I mean, that was my, I don't know what everybody else thinks, but I just, I was just concerned with it being due tonight, which, was my, main concern. I mean, I think Friday for me is okay. Or our group, I should say. I mean, Bailey, do you think the same, or?
Yeah, I think Friday's fine.
Yeah.
I
agree. And Ariel, what about you?
Ariel, what do you think? Is that okay, that date? Maybe she lost her mic.
Yeah.
Why don't we just say Sunday, just to be safe? How about that?
Well, because you said to post it, and then we wanted feedback, right? So
on the objectives, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, these things don't have to be etched in stone either. I mean, it's more or less a draft. A draft for Friday. You get some feedback, presumably by Sunday, and then you got another day for to finish it off in Blackboard or whatever, and just in the assignment, for now.
Right.
So, if that's okay, then we'll leave it there.
I think Friday's fine, but I don't know about everybody else. That's my only,
Well, why don't I just write? I'll just I'll put it out there that if anybody's having trouble with making that day on Friday, then that's fine. All right. What else?
I really for the objectives, it's not too much reading in the text either. I didn't find.
No,
it's really just a couple of pages that gives you that key example that I was using.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing about that book. I mean, certainly it's we're gonna read a whole book, but it's very, very easy reading. It's and you don't necessarily need to read a cover either. I mean, it's more and less of a reference book.
Okay.
But the key is to be able to know what what a major outcome and a major objective are, how they're written.
Right.
And then just be able to do that. That's really where it's about. The value in it is the examples, I think.
Okay.
And in this week we have plenty of examples too. I think with the lecture, the audio lecture there's a lot of examples. Actually, I build one out, right? I start with the idea and I build it out in the Mager way that's got the three pieces that are included.
Yep.
And I can't emphasize more enough that once you accomplish being able to write a Mager objective, then it's okay if you decide in your course just to use the performance piece of the objective, and you don't have to have the whole, the full-blown three-piece objective by Mager if you prefer not to. It's just that I continue to think that if you can put together 3 good Mager objectives, then you've got 3 good objectives, because it requires a lot of thought to think about all those factors in there in order to pull that off. And so that's why it's more about the exercise with that than it is about what you really what you decide to use in your final course.
Okay. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So this whole project is going to be building upon itself week after week until the end of the 15 weeks.
Indeed.
And we'll be working with the same group?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So the idea is that we're hoping that your course, as we said, the other day, Garrett, it is a cohesive group project, but at the same time, there's definitely the opportunity to do your own work and to distinguish yourself, essentially, right? Because each of you are going to have your own module that's going to add up to the, in your case, the 3-module course. So the thing at the end, we're going to have at the very end, we do a multimedia presentation of your course. In other words, you present your course to the rest of the class, essentially, and that's where we're gonna, you're asked or charged to show that there is continuity with the three modules. In other words, it does operate as a course and not just 3 discrete modules that don't really have any connection with one another.
Right. Okay.
So that's the thing where the group part of the that's the real, I think the real accomplishment is that if you got a really good sound module, but at the same time you can really see where it fits in the course in that way. That makes up that makes a really good course, and those are the ones that have been the most successful that can be able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm wondering, is this a course most people take like early in the IDN program or later in the IDM program?
Well, it's supposed to be an elective, so presumably you're taking at least some of the requirements first. I don't know exactly where in the where in the ordering of the flow of the programming kind of falls, but
Mhm.
Is this your first course?
No,
Yeah.
this is one of my last courses,
Okay,
so I'm
yeah.
finishing up in May. So
Awesome.
just tackling this project with IDN 541 is a lot. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's doable. I just probably could have planned better. That's all.
What's 541?
It is the second half of
Oh.
the capstone project.
Sure.
But,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. So you're dealing with Ruth and Kristen,
Massive
right?
production of my final project. Yeah.
That's good though. And then
Yeah,
you have the
it
opportunity to do a super awesome presentation at the end of the semester too.
Yeah.
Of the capstone, yeah. Yeah, so that's I went to the one that was held 2 years ago. No, last spring, and
Nice.
they were terrific. Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Neat.
What about so we got assignment dates, we got the project plan, progress reports. There's going to be those. That's one thing that has been a little bit confusing to students in the past, and that is, each one of you does one progress report, and basically it's just updating. It's basically an update of how things are going in your course, and the course development process, and all that sort of stuff, and of course the description there shows you, like, what we're looking for in terms of the progress report. So the thing is that there's one progress report assignment that I have that I see in my grade center view, and so what you do is, like, each one picks one for the group, right? And then there's no due date, so it just comes in, and at the eventually at the end I have everybody's progress report that comes in. So so if you're doing the progress report number 1, then you're done, and your partner or your teammate, if it's a group of 3, will take their turn, and then etc. So everyone does one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the posting that's due tonight, or I'm sorry, Friday, or whenever it is at this point, the outcome and objectives, that's one posting per group. Is that what that is?
Well, you're going to be doing outcomes and objectives for your module.
So the modular that I'm doing, I need to do my objectives and my outcomes.
Right.
And then, like, Bailey's part of my group, so then, like, if she has modular 1, then she would do it for hers, and then I would do it for 2, and then Melissa would do it for 3.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So that ends up being an individual assignment too, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that can be a little confusing too. The course is meant to have, I don't know, in our courses, it's usually we usually have 3 or 4 outcomes, right? And then we have probably 3 or 4 objectives, like within a module. So it kind of makes sense that, each person would have 1, maybe 2 outcomes for their module, which would be, a course outcome. Ultimately, it's a module outcome, but it would be, a course outcome in the, in the final analysis. And then, of course, you got your 3 objectives for that module that you're gonna satisfy there. That's gonna, lead to a successful performance from the student in that particular module outcome.
Okay.
Is that all right? Make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
I know that last week, it seemed like I'm the one who's asking all the questions. So I know that last week we did, like, I wrote about tests. When is that shared to the group as, like, how you would perform a test, or how you would make, like, a quiz, or how would you do any of those type of things? Like, are those going to be shared down the road? Are those going to be, like, in a main place, so that way we know how to design those elements with just looking at their, spec sheets?
Yeah, I'm gonna build out a resource folder.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put it in the left-hand navigation. I should have it done hopefully by Sunday.
Okay.
And so so it'll be here's the course, right? So it'll be over here. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't see that because I don't have my, I didn't share the screen. Anyway, so it'll be in the left-hand navigation, like below the course project deliverables link.
Okay.
And that's kind of a handy thing too. I don't know if you've been clicking on that, but one of the things that's been that was a critique of my course, and particularly last semester, was that sometimes we have these assignments that are kind of assigned early in the course, but they're not due until close to the end. And usually that's the blueprint assignment, and what's going to end up being the syllabus assignment. They're assigned pretty early, but they're not due until the very end. And so when students start to work on them, very often they can't find where it originally came from. So if I put in the module, they'd be like, I can't remember which module it's in the assignment. So what I've decided to do is, like, on that left-hand navigation, all the deliverables for the final project that come out as assignments or what have you, are listed there and progressively appear as they are, as they're studied in the particular weeks. So far we're showing the project plan, the progress report, and the objectives assignment. All right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's a good question, and I'm planning to have that, like I said, by Sunday. That module resource kind of folder there.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's all I had.
All right. Well, if that's it, then thanks a lot for checking in. This is really helpful to me to meet y'all and stuff, and I hope you're enjoying the course. I know I am.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think the nice thing is, like, all my classes I've taken so far have been, like, all educational based. So it's been like, what is this theory? What's this theory? What's this theory? And I'm just like, oh my God, did I choose the wrong thing to go into? And now that I'm actually in the design, now I can actually pull the elements together, which is nice, to be able to see both of them coming together. So
I'm glad to hear that. I mean, like I said over and over again, that the purpose of this is so you have something that you can carry with you, for a job interview or something like that,
right.
So
yeah.
All righty then. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you online, I guess.
Thanks.
All right.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Good night.